Welcome to another deep dive where we're going to be exploring just how our minds work,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to honesty and the power of belief. You gave me some fascinating research summaries and personal anecdotes for this one.
absolutely.
So I think we've got a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Our main source material is going to be excerpts from Predictably Irrational
Okay.
by Dan Ariely,
Cool.
who is a behavioral economist who's done some really cool experiments around cheating and the placebo effect.
Yeah.
We also have a short excerpt from an audiobook
Interesting.
narrated by Cherry Jones
Okay.
that kind of touches on the benefits of audiobooks for children.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we're looking at kind of the ways our minds can be influenced in
Yeah.
all these different ways.
Totally. And I think like even just looking at these two sources, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, they're very different, but they kind of speak to the same thing.
For sure.
So let's dive right in with Ariely's work on honesty.
Okay.
He makes this argument that honesty isn't as straightforward as we might think.
Traditional economics likes to assume people are totally rational, weigh the costs and the benefits.
You're right.
But Ariely is challenging that and saying honesty is more influenced by our own internal moral compass.
Right. And it's almost like that Freudian idea of the superego.
Exactly.
Like the part of our brain or our psyche, whatever, that's like, no, this is right, this is wrong.
Exactly.
So to test this idea, he did this really fascinating experiment at MIT
Oh, cool.
where he gave students a chance to cheat on a math test.
Okay.
And so some students had like virtually no risk of getting caught,
Mm-hmm.
and then others faced like varying levels of risk.
Okay.
And the surprising thing was, even with no chance of getting caught,
Yeah.
cheating didn't increase like dramatically. There was like this limit that most people wouldn't cross,
Huh. That's really interesting.
even if they thought they could get away with it.
Wow. So, is there some kind of internal, limit to our dishonesty?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's getting at.
Okay.
So, like, if you think about even in your own life, like, how many times have you, like, taken an extra pen from work?
Yeah. Or, fudge the numbers on an expense report.
Totally. Or, like, you go to the office kitchen.
Yeah.
And they have, like, granola bars or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'll just take an extra one for later.
Totally.
Like, would you ever walk into the office and be like, oh, I'm just going to take $20
Right.
from the petty cash?
Totally different.
It's like there's a line.
Yeah. Here's a line for sure.
But, like, Ariely found that dishonesty was even more pronounced when it came to actual cash.
Okay.
So he did another really clever experiment where students earned rewards for correctly solving math problems.
Right.
Some students got cash for each correct answer,
What?
and then another group got tokens that they could instantly trade in for the same amount of cash.
Okay. So same reward, just presented differently.
Exactly. Did that small change have an impact on people's behavior?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I know, me too.
What happened?
Well, the results were pretty remarkable. When students were rewarded with tokens instead of cash,
Yeah.
cheating more than doubled.
What?
Even though those tokens could be immediately exchanged for cash?
Wow. So just that little remove
Yeah.
made a huge difference.
Yeah. It's like, why would changing the reward from cash to tokens have such a dramatic effect on people's honesty?
Right. That's so interesting. It's like it reveals something
Oh,
deeper
Totally.
about how our brains are working.
Totally. It's like the psychological distance from money.
Yeah. Would you feel worse stealing a dollar bill from someone's wallet
Totally.
or taking $1 worth of office supplies?
And definitely stealing the dollar bill.
Right.
I wouldn't even think twice about taking, some paper clips or a stapler.
A few extra pens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's so easy to justify
Yeah.
when it's one step removed from actual money.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Ariely actually had a personal experience with this.
Really?
His Skype account was hacked.
Oh, no.
And the thief stole calling minutes.
Okay.
Which is not directly money,
Right.
but obviously has monetary value.
Of course. Yeah.
And so it raises this question, did the thief feel less guilty because they were stealing time rather than money?
Right.
And what does that say about the slippery slope of non-monetary dishonesty?
It's something to think about for sure.
Yeah, and I think this idea of non-monetary dishonesty is incredibly relevant,
Yeah.
especially in our digital world
Oh, I
where
think so.
everything's
It's all so intangible now.
totally. Think about music downloads, streaming services,
Yeah.
those buy now pay later schemes.
Right.
It's we can lose track of the actual monetary value.
Totally. We're not dealing with physical cash anymore.
Right. It's like, oh, it's just a click of a button. It's just
Yeah.
numbers on a screen.
Uh-huh.
So I think we have to be extra vigilant about our choices in those situations because the lines between like honest and dishonest behavior
Yeah,
can become so blurred.
totally.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we're not always as rational as we think we are.
Totally.
But before we get too down on ourselves,
Yeah.
let's switch gears a bit and talk about placebos.
Okay.
This was my favorite part of Ariely's book.
Oh, yeah.
I was blown away by this idea that a sugar pill could actually make you feel better.
It's wild, right?
It's so
It
wild.
really shows the power of the mind.
Yeah.
Mind-body connection.
Yeah.
Our expectations and beliefs
Mm-hmm.
can have a real measurable impact on how we experience the world,
Yeah,
including how we feel physically.
totally. So he
Right.
describes this experiment where participants were given these identical painkillers,
Okay.
but they were told that they were either a cheap generic brand or an expensive new medication.
Oh, interesting.
And what do you think the results were?
I don't know. I feel like I know where this is going,
Yeah.
but tell me.
Okay. Well, the people who took the expensive pills reported feeling less pain,
Wow.
even though the pills themselves were exactly the same.
It's the power of branding.
Totally.
It's perception.
Yeah.
Our brains are wired to believe that higher price equals higher quality.
Right.
And that belief can actually influence our physiological responses.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
like we're susceptible to this like
Placebo market.
and really like we do it to ourselves.
We do it to ourselves.
It's so crazy. And he found similar results in other experiments too.
Oh, really?
Like what? Remember that one with the Sobe energy drinks?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they had people drink these energy drinks.
Right.
And some people were told it was like a really high-priced energy drink,
Uh-huh.
and others were told it was a discounted version.
Right.
And they found that the people who were told they were drinking this like high-priced energy drink
Yeah.
performed better on word puzzles,
What?
even though the drink itself had no actual cognitive enhancing ingredients.
Wow. It's all about what we believe.
Totally. Like if we believe something's going to work, it might actually work, even if
Mhm.
it's just a placebo.
Yeah.
Pretty wild, right?
It's so fascinating.
It's like the power of expectation.
It really is.
So I don't know, have you ever like thought about this in
Yeah.
terms of like your own life?
All the time.
Yeah.
Like I catch myself doing it.
Yeah.
Have you ever bought something like a product
Yeah.
based on like the
Yeah.
brand name or the packaging
Totally.
and then felt like extra satisfied because it was more expensive?
All the time.
Yeah.
Especially with things like skincare products
Yeah.
or like supplements.
For sure.
It's like if I'm spending more on it, I'm like, okay, it's going to work better,
Right.
which is so irrational.
That's totally irrational.
Oh, no,
But we all do it.
but we all do it.
That's Ariely's point, right?
Yeah.
We're all predictably irrational in these ways.
Totally.
But the key is recognizing those patterns
Right.
so we can make more informed choices.
Okay, so we've talked about how easily we can be swayed by these factors.
It's like price and presentation, even when it comes to like our own honesty.
Yeah.
So were we just like doomed
Right.
to be manipulated?
Are our brains just working against us?
Yeah, by our own minds and clever marketing tactics.
Right. Well, not necessarily.
Yep.
Like understanding these mental quirks
Mm-hmm.
is the first step to overcoming them.
Okay.
Think of it like shining a light on these like hidden influences
Uh-huh.
so we can become more aware of how they're shaping our choices.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It's like we're taking back control of the
Whoops.
puppet strings.
Instead of just being pulled around without knowing why.
Totally.
Ariely talks about this concept of finding free lunches
Okay.
in behavioral economics.
Interesting.
And like when he says free lunches, he doesn't mean getting something for nothing.
Right.
He means finding ways to hack our decision making
Okay.
to create better outcomes
Mm-hmm.
for ourselves and for society. Okay, I'm intrigued. What are some examples of these free lunches in action?
Okay, so a great example is this program called Save More Tomorrow.
Okay.
And it encourages people to commit a percentage of their future salary increases
Okay.
to their retirement savings.
So it's like instead of feeling the pinch of saving money right now,
Right.
you're committing to save more later when hopefully you'll be making more money.
Exactly.
So it's like tricking yourself into saving without like feeling the immediate pain.
Exactly. You're taking advantage of that natural tendency
Right.
to prioritize present gratification
Totally.
over future rewards.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. Is
Right.
like instant gratification
Right.
versus like the long term.
Right. It's hard to think long term.
Yeah.
Ariely also talks about things like self-control credit cards.
Ooh, Ooh,
So they have like built-in features that help people limit their spending
interesting.
and stick to their financial goals.
That's a fantastic idea.
Right.
I know I could definitely benefit from a credit card that would give me like a virtual slap on the wrist
Absolutely.
every time I tried to overspend.
That would be amazing.
I know.
I would sign up for that.
That would be their first customer.
Right.
Sure.
So yeah, these are just a few examples of how like
Yeah.
understanding our own biases
Mhm.
can lead to these creative solutions that benefit everyone.
Okay, so before we move on,
Yeah.
I wanted to circle back to that audiobook excerpt that you
Right.
mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
the one narrated by Cherry Jones about the benefits of audiobooks for children,
Right.
because it feels like a bit of a different topic.
Okay.
But I'm curious how it connects to what we've been discussing
Yeah.
about like the power of influence.
Right. It's a great observation.
Yeah.
Like the excerpt might seem like a departure,
Uh-huh.
but it actually ties in really beautifully
Okay.
with Ariely's work.
Okay. Yeah.
Ariely focuses on how our biases can lead us astray,
Yeah.
make these irrational choices,
Yeah.
or even dishonest choices.
Right.
The audiobook excerpt
Yeah.
highlights how those same biases can be leveraged for positive outcomes.
Oh, interesting. So it's like, just as marketing can exploit our tendencies,
Exactly.
it can also be used to promote like positive behavior.
For sure.
Okay, I like that.
So the excerpt focuses on how children can benefit from listening to audiobooks.
Okay.
They're exposed to this rich vocabulary, these compelling narratives,
Yeah.
all these different voices.
Right.
It fosters this love of reading,
Yeah.
improves listening skills,
Uh-huh.
expands their imaginations.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's like it's this reminder that influence in and of itself isn't inherently good or bad.
Right.
It's all about how we use it.
Exactly. It's about intention.
Yeah.
And that leads us back to Ariely's work on honesty.
Okay.
Remember that experiment he did with the Coca-Cola and the dollar bills?
Okay, what was it again? Remind me.
So they left 6 packs of Coke
Oh.
and plates of dollar bills
Okay.
in communal refrigerators
Okay.
in college dorms.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
What do you think happened?
I'm guessing the Cokes didn't last very long.
Yeah, you're right.
Especially in a college dorm.
They vanished within 72 hours.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
Makes sense.
But what was surprising
Yeah.
was that the plates of dollar bills
Yeah.
remained completely untouched.
It's like there's this unspoken rule
Right.
about what's considered acceptable to borrow,
Right.
even when it's technically stealing.
Exactly.
I know I've definitely been guilty of taking some extra office supplies from work,
Yeah, me too.
but I would never consider taking money.
Right.
It just feels different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Ariely found a similar pattern when he asked students how they would feel
Yeah.
about taking a red pencil from work
Okay.
versus taking a dime from petty cash
Uh-huh.
to buy a pencil.
Right. So even though both scenarios involve taking something
Right.
that belongs to the company.
Yeah. The act of taking cash
Yeah.
felt more wrong.
It just feels wrong.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that idea
Yeah.
of psychological distance
From money.
from money. When something isn't directly cash,
Uh-huh.
it's easier to rationalize taking it.
Totally.
We tell ourselves it's just a small thing, no big deal.
Right.
But as Ariely points out,
Yeah.
these little sheets can add up
Oh, yeah.
to significant losses for
Yeah.
businesses and organizations.
It's a good reminder to be mindful,
For sure.
even of those seemingly harmless
Yeah.
acts of dishonesty,
Right.
because they can have this ripple effect.
Totally.
So how do we combat these tendencies?
Right. Like, are we supposed to constantly be policing our every thought and action?
Yeah, like, is it exhausting to
Yeah.
be like, oh, wait, am I being dishonest right now?
Right. Well, that's where Ariely's concept of choice architecture comes in.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I'm not totally sure what it means.
Okay, so choice architecture.
Is about designing environments and systems
Right.
that subtly nudge us
Okay.
towards making more rational and ethical choices.
Okay, so can you give me like a concrete example
Sure.
of what that might look like in practice?
Okay, so imagine a company
Yeah.
that's trying to reduce office supply theft.
Okay.
Instead of just relying on employees' willpower,
Right.
they could implement a system where employees have to sign out for any supplies they take.
Okay.
So the simple act of having to sign their name
Yeah.
might be enough to deter some people
Interesting.
from taking things they don't need.
So it's like making us think twice
Exactly.
before acting impulsively.
Exactly. It's adding a little bit of friction to
Okay.
that choice.
I like that.
Another example could be like a cafeteria
Okay.
that wants to encourage healthier eating habits.
Right.
Instead of just hoping people will pause the salad bar over the pizza,
Uh-huh.
they could strategically place the salad bar
Okay.
in a more prominent location. making it the most accessible option.
Yeah. So it's like giving ourselves a little extra push
Exactly.
in the right direction.
Exactly. We're not eliminating choice.
Right.
We're just making the healthier choice.
The easier choice.
The easier choice.
I like that.
Ariely also emphasizes the importance of pre-commitment
Okay.
when it comes to making decisions.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to, like, trick yourself into exercising more
Oh, yeah?
by laying out your workout clothes the night before?
Oh, my gosh, all the time.
It's a classic.
I love that. It doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work.
But I love the idea of, like, outsmarting my future self.
Right.
Like, future me, you think you're going to get up and go to the gym.
Right.
But I already have this laid out for you.
You're not getting out of it.
You're not getting out of it. It's like a little mind game with myself.
Totally.
But I love it.
It's a great example of pre-commitment in action.
Okay.
By making the decision ahead of time when we're feeling more rational and motivated, we can remove the temptation to give in.
To those impulsive urges later.
To those impulsive urges later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like giving our future selves
a little helping hand.
a little helping hand.
I like that. Are there any other, like, free lunch strategies that we can, like, borrow from behavioral economics?
Yeah, another powerful technique is making our commitments public.
Oh, interesting.
Think about those New Year's resolutions
Don't even get me started.
that we often abandon by February.
It's like setting yourself up for failure.
Totally.
I know.
But what if we told all of our friends and family about our resolutions?
Right.
That social pressure to follow through?
The accountability.
The accountability
Yeah.
might make us more likely to stick to them.
That's so true. It's like the fear of looking like a hypocrite.
Right.
Is like the motivation we need sometimes.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
So yeah, public commitments
Okay.
can be a really powerful tool for keeping ourselves on track.
I like that.
So to recap, some key takeaways from Ariely's work.
Okay.
Be mindful of those little cheats, even if they seem insignificant.
Okay.
Pre-commit to decisions whenever possible.
Yes.
Make your commitments public.
Love it.
And be aware of how external factors,
Uh-huh.
like price and presentation,
Yeah.
can influence our choices.
That's a great summary.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up,
Okay.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can apply these ideas to navigating our increasingly digital world.
Oh, it's such a good question.
Yeah.
It feels like the lines between honest and dishonest behavior are becoming even more blurred
Yeah.
as more of our interactions and transactions happen online.
Right.
It's something that Ariely touches on in his book.
Uh-huh.
As we move toward this more digital economy,
Yeah.
it's crucial to be even more vigilant about our choices.
It's like we need to develop this like new set of ethical guidelines for navigating the digital landscape.
Totally. We need to be more conscious of the information we share online, the purchases we make, the way we interact with others.
Right.
It's easy to feel anonymous
Totally.
and detached in the digital world.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that our actions still have real-world consequences.
Totally. Even though we're interacting through screens,
Right.
there are real people.
Real people?
On the other side of those interactions.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And as technology continues to evolve,
Yeah.
it's going to become even more important to have these open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of our digital choices.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, let's dive into another one of Ariely's fascinating experiments.
I love these experiments.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
This one involves beer.
Ooh, fun.
And the surprising influence of social pressure on our decision-making.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Are you ready for a taste test?
Let's do it.
This one takes us to a real brewery where Ariely and his colleague offered patrons free samples of 4 different beers.
Okay.
And they set it up so some tables had to order their beer out loud, and then other tables wrote their choices down privately.
So like a public versus private.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like testing the influence of like social dynamics on decision-making.
Okay.
Makes sense. So you would think people would just pick the beer they're like best, right?
Yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. But that's not quite what happened.
Really?
So they found that people who ordered out loud were way more likely to pick a variety of different beers.
Oh, interesting.
Even if it meant
Okay.
choosing one they didn't enjoy as much.
Interesting. So like they're trying to present a certain image to the group.
It's like, oh, I'm going to get the like, you know, crazy IPA.
Right.
Even though I actually prefer like a lighter beer.
Exactly.
But I want to seem like
You got to be cool.
I'm adventurous and I have a sophisticated palate.
Right.
It's like that whole thing.
Yeah, it's funny. I've definitely caught myself doing that.
Oh, totally.
Like looking at a menu and not really knowing what I want.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like waiting to see what other people order.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And then I get it and I'm like, hey.
It wasn't really what I wanted.
Not really what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I went with the group.
Exactly.
Shuffle.
It's like that social influence is so powerful.
It's powerful.
Even in like the smallest decisions.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
like, how do we navigate those situations?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess it's about being super self-aware and consciously trying to block out those external influences.
But is that exhausting?
It is a little exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more about like recognizing that we are social creatures.
Right.
And those influences are always going to be there.
Right.
The goal isn't to eliminate them completely.
Yeah.
But to like understand how they're affecting us and make choices that align with our own values and preferences.
Yeah. And I think that ties into your earlier point about being kind to ourselves.
Right.
Because we're not always going to make the most rational or perfect choices.
Never going to be perfect.
No. And that's okay.
It's part of being human.
That's part of being human.
You know?
And I think sometimes we forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behavioral economics isn't about judging ourselves.
Right.
It's about understanding the patterns in our decision-making.
Both the good and the bad.
The rational and the irrational.
Exactly.
So we can create strategies and systems that actually support our goals and well-being.
I like that. It's like we're giving ourselves permission to be human with all of our quirks and complexities.
Our messiness.
Yes.
Our beautiful messiness.
I love that.
So yeah, start by noticing those moments.
Yeah.
When you're feeling influenced by those external factors, ask yourself, is this choice truly aligned
I would like that.
with what I want?
It's a good question to ask.
Or am I being swayed by something else?
Yeah, it's like checking in with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to choice architecture.
Totally.
If we can create environments that support our goals and kind of nudge us in the right direction, we're more likely to make choices that serve us well.
It's like setting ourselves up for success.
Exactly.
Right. And it can be as simple as like unsubscribing from those tempting email newsletters that are like, oh, sale, sale, sale.
Yes.
Or like putting those sugary snacks
out of sight.
Out of sight.
Out of mind.
Out of mind.
Right.
Or even just like taking a few deep breaths before making a big decision.
Those are good tips.
Just like pause and be like, okay.
Check in.
What am I doing?
What's going on? What do I actually want?
Yeah.
It's like we're creating our own personal free lunch system.
Exactly. And the best part is these strategies can be applied to all areas of our lives.
Totally.
Our finances, our relationships, our health and well-being.
Yeah, it's like a holistic approach.
Totally. It's about taking those insights and using them to create a life that we actually enjoy.
That we actually want.
That feels good.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive
thanks.
into the world of behavioral economics.
Yeah.
And the fascinating ways our minds work.
It is fascinating.
We've covered so much today.
I know, right?
From cheating and placebos to the power of social influence and the concept of free lunches.
Those free lunches.
Yeah.
So good.
It's been so fun exploring these ideas with you.
Yeah, me too.
And I hope our listeners have gained some valuable insights.
I hope so.
Into their own decision-making and how they can use this knowledge.
To create a more fulfilling and intentional life.
Exactly.
A huge thank you to you for joining us on this journey.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for diving deep with us.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Remember, even though we might be predictably irrational at times.
Yeah, we are all a little bit irrational.
We are.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Embrace the irrationality.
I love that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we're stuck.
Right.
By understanding our biases and leveraging the power of choice architecture.
Yes.
We can nudge ourselves towards a happier, healthier, and more meaningful existence.
I love it.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
Keep those minds working.
And keep embracing those wonderfully complex minds of yours.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening.